What's up with it, people? It's your boy Cornelius Cole. This is a Diehardfan show. Shout out to Sports for America for putting me on. Uh, Glad to be here, ready to get into this NFL week. Uh, also, Serena played her last game. Sue Bird played her last game as they got bounced last night. Couple of interesting topics. Aaron Judge chasing American League history still. The boy doing his thing, hitting them out the park. And today I'm hoping to have Mr. Shaun Bishop from First Formation join us today so he can tell us all about Jalen Hurts and those Eagles. Um, for some reason, I keep having Eagles fans, but for now, I want to get into a little bit about the NCAA, which if Bishop joins the show, I want to talk to him a little bit about that. But I want to talk about the rankings. Who's ranking these people? Like, the poll is kind of ridiculous to me, the NCAA poll. They go from one extreme to the other, in my opinion. Um, it's just so random, I think, because in my mind, this past weekend's games, Ohio State played the tougher team, but somehow they end up in third. Georgia played an 11 ranked team and ended up second. They did thrash Oregon, by the way. Those Ducks did get thrashed. High hopes for Oregon, but that sets them back. Georgia just looks like they're tough again, but that's only one game. You never know what's going to happen in the season. People fall off sometimes. Teams fall off sometimes. But just that ranking system is kind of messed up. Now, you mean to tell me Oregon was number 11, they lost to a high-ranking Georgia team, and now they all the way down to not even ranked, actually. They got ousted after one game, and they were ranked 11th. Somehow Michigan moves up into the top five. I just don't understand the politics of it all. You can explain the metrics to me over and over again. I'll still never get it. And anyway, we already know, as I've said before on this show, the NCAA is partial to the SEC. The SEC teams are always going to find their way into the top four. No matter what they do, they play each other, beat each other up. They still going to come out on top. It just appears to me that, they're saying that that's the toughest conference, which isn't necessarily true in my opinion, but that's what they say. I mean, it's Alabama, and now the last couple of years, maybe Georgia beating up on the rest of those teams over there. Every now and then an upset may occur. But I will say this, Bama is going to play Texas Longhorns. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan. Shout out Texas. So I'm hoping it's hook 'em horns. I just want to see that action. I want to see what happens. I want to see those guys win. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do win. Hopefully they thrash them a little bit. Also, with the NCAA, I want to say, as a diehard fan of football, of sports in general, the NCAA is the football is good, but I watch the players and I find myself saying, maybe this guy will make the pros, maybe this person will make the pros, maybe that's what I watch college sports for, just to see who has that potential to maybe be a star someday on the NFL Sunday, Thursday, Monday. You know how the NFL does it. Like, they got so many days now. You can't just say it on Sundays anymore. But so far, I watched the Notre Dame game. I was rooting for Notre Dame. I was going for the upset over Ohio State. And Notre Dame played good the first half and fell off the second half, which has been typical for them the past few years. They just haven't been strong. They just been cave in the second half of games a lot of times. But they were hard hitting. They were playing physical defense and just knew they couldn't keep it up for four quarters. those guys are not built like that yet. They don't have they have the college bodies and the mindset, but they don't have the NFL stamina yet. You got to work towards that. You got to, and I keep that in mind when I watch them. I don't care if some of them are seniors and all that. I'm just saying, if they were ready, then they would probably skip ahead a little bit and be in the league, even though that's very rare in football. But junior year stuff like that, they come out. But my point is, Notre Dame caves. Second half, they need to clean that up. New coach has it solved that issue? Has it solved that problem? Notre Dame is one of my favorite teams. I'm actually, like I said, I'm a Texas Longhorn fan. It doesn't matter who wears the jerseys, as long as they show up and play hard. The Longhorns have fallen off these last few years, but we'll be back. You can trust that. We'll be back. We'll be back strong. It's Texas, baby. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of great football players right there in the state. Even though they're choosing to go to other schools now, it appears, because you got so much competition there at Texas A&M, since they're already in the SEC. That move is major. But hopefully if we don't beat Alabama, we at least give them a test. Don't just go out there and get run over 60-0. Longhorns. That's all I'm saying. Don't embarrass me, man. Don't embarrass me. Do you hear me? Don't embarrass me, man. Make sure that we put our best foot forward out there. And other things, I always look at, like Michigan. Michigan used to be a powerhouse. Michigan and Notre Dame were the powerhouses. They were putting a lot of players in the pros, things like that. Now it's slacked off a lot, and it's become all these other schools, Alabama, USC's and stuff like that. They started running to the forefront. Clemson. I think the shift in the dynamic was, television exposure. One, contracts, teams getting better sponsors and things like that. To be able to recruit the kids and bring the kids to the school. It's that beautiful work, that you have to put in. That's what I always admired about the college players, is that they're working towards a goal to get somewhere. Sometimes when you watch professional sports, it seems like these guys are already made it. So some of them, you could tell when some of them just going through the motions, or it's no longer fun to them, or for whatever reasons, maybe money got in the way, maybe personal issues. But you can tell the difference. College players sometimes have to suck up a lot to go out there and get things done. Now, I know they have the name, image, and likeness right now, but it's still nothing like signing that big check and living your dream out there in the NFL. Trust me, it's not the same. It is not the same. But back to the rankings. It's just pitiful to always see the same handful of schools near the top or at the top, and I get it. They were tested again. I just don't understand how Ohio State dropped from number 2 to number 3, and played, no doubt, the tougher team. And plus, like I said, Georgia was like ranked 3, and they played a number 11 team, which was already lower than Notre Dame in the brackets, and somehow, them beating them 49-3. I think they were actually supposed to do that. If you're not in the top 10, you're in the 11th team, and you're playing against the second best team. The third best team, you're supposed to get beat. Excuse me, but now they're the second best team, I guess. But we'll see how everything pans out. It's too early to be like, oh, these guys are going to run away with it. I see Oklahoma getting some action up there. But like I said, I don't know how they pick all those teams. Houston, the Houston Cougars struggled a little bit against UTSA. San Antonio, they brought that, man. But like I said, it's Texas. It's gonna be some tough stuff when it comes to those things. Maybe they building a rivalry there. Maybe something can possibly pop for UTSA out of that whole situation. I'm happy for them. I think it's a good thing. And the last thing I want to say about the NCAA, the players that they have, not really thrilled about, those that they're saying are the front runners for the Heisman Trophy. I think I think it's going to be that guy from Alabama, Bryce, whatever his name is. He's going to win that. I mean, that's my early prediction. I think he's just better, so I think he's going to win that. But I look at it and I see the game is crazy. Good evening, Darylyn. But I see the game is crazy. I see lots of people playing their hearts out, but I see Bryce as the front runner. Now, I'm gonna shift up a little bit and talk a little bit about the WNBA playoffs. Yeah, the WNBA. I'm not, as a fan of sports, I'm not like you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm really not uh, thrilled about the action as I try to watch and vibe some of the action. They need a little bit more action. They need a little bit more emotion. I don't know. They need something. The WNBA needs something. They lacking something. I mean, because this is playoff time, and hardly anybody's really talking about it. It's like, let's just be honest. You turn it on ESPN or any sports station, any major sports station or local station, and they just glance over that real quickly. It's not really, Sue Bird has played her tail off, and it's not a whole lot of hype behind it. It's just not a whole lot of hype there. It's not a whole lot of love there for the WNBA. As I've said before, maybe there will be love, but in the playoffs, the young lady for the Aces, she's playing her tail off. The Aces look like they may win it all, but they do have a game 5 coming up. Uh, Sun and Sky. That's Chicago and Connecticut, I think. They have game coming up, game 5. But that's how much people pay attention. Is that I barely remember the names of the teams sometimes without looking and scrolling. It's like, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Uh, but I just want to see more action. I know they can't replicate what the NBA puts on, but the NBA is a better show even when all of their best players don't play, in my opinion. Even when they sitting everybody out, load management. I mean, it's just a better thing to watch. I hope the WNBA turns that around. Listen to me. If you listen to me, you'll go far. Um, you're gonna have to start stacking teams. You're gonna have to, instead of having a superstar here and there or two hits, whatever. No, you're gonna have to start stacking teams. Um, you're gonna have to in order to make that more appealing, more of an attractive game. You know, they're gonna be blowouts. There's blowouts in every sport, but in the playoffs, in that series, it hasn't really been in many close games in that series. Now, the Seattle Storm had a close game. I think they lost by 2 points when they lost. Sue Bird, like I said, hats off to her. She went out. I think she had like 17 points or something. I was hoping to see more from her in her potential last game, but she gave what she could. She also had 8 dimes. She dropped it, 8 assists. I mean, not bad to go out like that. I believe she's like almost 40 or something, if she's not 40. So, got to give her props for that. They just didn't have enough. Like I said, the Aces look like they may be that team that I'm talking about. They look like they're stacked. They got players that just keep playing and keep coming at you. Um, but just like everybody else, I'm going to move on from the WNBA. Maybe I'll come back to it. But right now, I want to get into something real quick about the NBA. Donovan Mitchell going to the Cavs. That move puzzles me. I'm not sure if Donovan is happy with that move or if it was just a move that Utah made because they could. I mean, I don't know the ramifications of the move exactly, but it seems like Utah is cleaning house and going into a quote unquote rebuild. Here we go with that rebuild stuff. It doesn't look like Utah's trying to be that competitive. Gobert's gone. Now Mitchell's gone. A lot of shuffling there. They got a lot of picks. But then the Knicks get a lot of picks also. Just saying. Looks like to me, Utah is giving up. I don't know why they've given up. I wish they would bring it back, get something going, get something, uh, get some momentum going, get something popping. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see teams, um, in the NBA, not give up. I'm not saying that Utah is caving. I'm just saying it appears that way, and we'll see when the season starts. But now, Donovan Mitchell going to the Cavs. I know the Cavs have a lot of young talent over there, but um, doesn't he play like the same position as most of those other guys that they have over there? I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, doesn't he play like the same wing position or something that the rest of them play over there? So I don't see how that's going to really benefit them in trying to fit in with the Celtics, the Nets, even Philadelphia and Milwaukee, because you know those teams have been around in the end. Oh, and don't forget Miami. Um, which I would have liked to see them go somewhere like Miami. Uh, you know, play with Jimmy buckets. I mean, I think they would have made like a cool tandem. You know, more like more like um, a team that could really push the envelope. I know Donovan Mitchell is nowhere near the defensive uh, player that uh, Jimmy is, but I still think that it could really mean, like they could really be a force somewhere like that. But the Cavaliers, come on, man. The Cavaliers haven't really been much to talk about since Bron left. Um, you know, so I still don't expect them to do much. I don't expect them to bring that same intensity that they did last year. Where they were kind of tough. Maybe they're trying to compete. I get it. You're trying to make moves to make your team better, but I don't know if Donovan Mitchell was that move. And I don't know how cool he's going to be playing in Cleveland. But we'll just have to sit back, buckle up, and see what happens in that whole scenario. And I still think um, Utah in that West, you had something that could compete over there, and now you don't. So, um, but why the sudden shift? Is it trying to get from under high contracts? Paying these people all that money. I get it. You didn't want to pay Rudy Gobert. Let's face it. The money that Rudy Gobert got, I would like to see how he's going to earn that. Um, Playing with Carl Anthony Towns and those guys. Uh, just wait and see. I guess that's all you can do is just wait and see. As a fan, they should start tomorrow because I'm anxious to see how all that stuff pans out. The little parodies that they have going on. Durant staying with the Nets. Let's see if he's happy or satisfied. It feels like he's good where he is. We'll have to see all that. We'll have to see all that to see how it is. Um, and now, roll along here to one of the things I really want to talk about: NFL. The NFL, huge. Uh, Tomorrow starts the season. Bills versus Rams. Who you got? I'm taking the Rams in that game. I don't believe in the Bills. I know the Bills are front runners to win it all. I think I've said that before. I don't think they're going to make it all the way to the end. I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, much less win the Super Bowl. They would have to prove me. They would have to prove me wrong. They would have to show me that they can and that they are the truth. But I like I like the Rams in that game only because as defending champs, you got to come out with the fire. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think they're going to come out firing on all cylinders because they're actually led by a defensive player. You know, you know, Aaron's the best thing out there as far as, and he's also the catalyst of the team. I'm not really looking at offense, but it's going to be interesting to see the coverages and stuff that they throw at Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. I think Cup has earned that double coverage, so to speak, or that special look after what he did last season. I think he's going to be guarded a little bit tighter. So now we got to see what Matthew Stafford can do with a little more pressure and, them trying to take away his quote unquote number one weapon. In my eyes, a quarterback should never have a main weapon. I'm just gonna put that out there. Fan of the game. I've always liked those quarterbacks that spread the ball around. I like the Aaron Rodgers. I like the Tom Brady's. I like the Patrick Mahomes. I even like Dak for that passing, throwing the ball around. But Josh Allen, he spreads the ball around a little bit. I kind of like that. I also like Matthew Stafford's chances of being able to prove that he could throw the ball around. He played so long with Calvin Johnson that he did have like a number one target. But let's just see if he's stuck on Cup all night tomorrow night, or if he's looking elsewhere, to move the ball downfield, to advance the ball. I also think that, speaking of Dak Prescott, I think that this is going to be his chance to prove that he's in that upper stratosphere with a Mahomes and a Rodgers and a Brady. Spread the ball around. You don't really have a quote unquote, Amari Cooper is gone. Everybody keeps saying that. But I think Dak will be fine as long as he keeps doing what he was doing. I mean, everybody makes it seem like Amari Cooper was doing so great. But he really wasn't a force like he was when he was like he had the potential to be when he was with the Raiders. He didn't do all that with the Cowboys. So I don't want to speculate too much or guess what was going on with him. But I don't think it's clear that him and Dak didn't really mesh all that well, because Dak is the type that's not looking for one guy. He's trying to move the ball downfield by any means necessary. And if it's spreading it around, it's spreading it around. It's not about you having so many catches and you making highlight films. Nice. But I think this season is going to be. I think the interesting things are, I've given you players to watch before, but I think teams that are going to be interesting to see. Like, can the Rams make another run at it? I think it's going to be tough, and everybody's saying, the Bills got the AFC on lock or whatever, but I don't think they do. I think you got to watch out for. I'm not going to say you got to watch out for Cincinnati, but I know you got to watch out for the Chiefs. Don't count Patrick Mahomes out. I'm going to keep stressing that throughout the season. I'm going to keep saying it, and you're going to see it. And when I say I told you so, when I say if you listen to me, people will understand the full grasp of it. This is the Diehardfan Sports Show with yours truly, Cornelius Cole. I want to take a moment to say what's up to Sports for America again for putting me on. Thanks for the opportunity. Shout out to that Nerd Focus Energy drink. People should check that out. I also want to rep my stuff, as you can see it scrolling across the screen at the bottom of your screen right there. Go cop that gear at Snook One Productions at Shopify, or at least cop a mug. I ain't too proud to say it. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur building my stuff up. Also, check me out, as you can see, at thesaleshow.com. That's the Stimulate Your Mind show. It's my radio show on iHeartRadio. Now, and I also want to say, check out the Super Draft Pro, which I want to touch on this real briefly as far as sports betting. I wonder how this is going to impact the game nowadays. The sports betting now that everybody's getting settled in and everybody's used to it coast to coast now. I wonder who's going to make the money. Who's not. That over-under stuff is always so hard to predict. Wins and losses are already hard enough to predict, but you got a 50-50 chance there. And then you throw in the over-under. The odds just change a little bit. a little bit too much for me as far as the sports betting. I really haven't dabbled into that yet, other than a couple of work pools in the past, something like that, Super Bowl pools or something like that. I really haven't really got into the sports betting. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that say, hey, they can make a lot of money if you bet right. You can make a lot of money. I hear that you can bet like whole boards. I mean, I haven't paid that much attention to the sports betting, but I just had this crazy scenario since I have this stimulates your mind show and stuff. I just had this crazy scenario in my head the last couple of days uh, of a year or so, or a few years from now, some referee getting popped because he did his family favors while he was out there calling games and things like that, or a group of referees or something figured out a way to get the bag. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how well they pay the referees in professional sports, but I'm sure they get paid hefty. But I'm sure it's not anywhere near what the players and the coaches and staff are making. So there's always that temptation right there, and you just watch. There's going to be somebody that tries that. They tried it before in basketball when betting was illegal, but imagine what they're going to do now that it's legal. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know all the stipulations on it, and I love to look at things from those angles, only because um, you already have to worry about home field sometimes, home field advantage sometimes with the referees. Uh, paying attention to one team's penalties a little bit more than they do other teams' penalties. Sometimes it seems like they have their favorites. It's like because it's a penalty pretty much on every play, but sometimes they call them over and over on the same team. Specifically, my Cowboys. Nah, just playing. I know my Cowboys have really earned all those flags, man. Hopefully they'll turn the tables on that. Don't want to get into that again, but it has been a plague. But going into this weekend, a lot of games are going to be interesting to watch. You know, Pardon me while I bring up the schedule here. Um, in this week one. Like I said, the Bills and the Rams tomorrow night. I'm so excited to get that on. I can't wait to watch that. I can't wait to see that pop. I can't wait to see that go down, people. It's going to be something great. But the Steelers Bengals. There's going to be a game where two teams really, a rivalry game right off the rip, a division rivalry game early in the season like that is priceless. You got to say it's priceless, right? You got to say it's one of those interesting challenges that's going to be worth it, right? Um, then they have the Eagles and the Lions. Um, yeah, that seems like there's going to be a lopsided game, but I don't know. Detroit's going to play their tail off in my fantasy football. I'm starting Jared Goff. I'm taking him in that first game. Um, Over my other quarterback, Tua, against that New England defense. Um, I like Jared Goff's chances better against the Eagles defense because the Eagles defense has to prove themselves. 49ers Bears, man. We get to see what both of these young quarterbacks got. It's Trey versus Justin. These two young quarterbacks that everybody's been a little bit hype about. We're going to see the Bears didn't really put much around Justin, so we're going to have to see him do his thing. We're going to see how good his improvisation is, as he has to improvise out there. We're going to see how good he is at improvising. Um, we're also going to see, um, what Trey Lance is all about. I know the Bears always have a pretty good defense. They lost a couple of pieces on their defensive line, but the Bears are always stiff defensively. The Monsters of the Midway do play pretty good defense year in, year out. So we're going to see what he's going to do against a decent defense. And then the Patriots Dolphins. I already touched on that a little bit. I'm going Patriots. It's hard to go against Belichick. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people can't stand Belichick, but it's hard for me to go against Bill Belichick. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of what he's done with that New England organization. So, and then they, like the Dolphins win a game here and there against them, but, they've actually owned that AFC East up until the last 2-3 years since the Buffalo Bills have been tough. They own that division as long as they had Brady. I think they'll be back to owning that division in no time soon, because I see a rebuild in the next 2 or 3 years in the Bills' future. They're all in trying to win Super Bowls right now, and history's proven you can only do that for a few years. You can't keep getting all those top tier players all the time before you just don't have the money to do it anymore. And the top tier players get old, especially when you go and get veterans that have been in the league a long time, like Von Miller, for instance. Stephon Diggs is no longer a spring chicken. Um, Things change, times change. Other than that, I think they got a young nucleus, but other players, they got vets. I mean, so before you know it, Josh Allen will be playing with a whole new list of players. Bill Belichick is always one of those that's good at mixing young with the old, and giving you that perfect mixture of. He has a young quarterback, so he has a couple of veteran receivers. They don't have to be nothing fancy. They just got to help them move the chains. Is the name of the game. Keep away from the other team at certain times. And play solid defense. He always has the defenders. That's what I always like about the New England teams, is that their defenses are no slouch. I do have their defense in my fantasy draft, so I am starting that defense in week 1, because I think they're going to have a great chance against the Dolphins. As you already know, I'm not a huge fan of Tua, and I want somebody to. And I'm actually looking to see Tyreek Hill talked all that noise about Tua being. Comparable to Mahomes. We're about to see. Browns, Panthers. Mayfield going against the Browns. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to say this. I don't like either one of those teams. I don't think either one of those teams are going very far. So it's a toss-up to me in that game as to who to take. I know that only by default, the Panthers have the better quarterback right now. I think Mayfield is slightly better than Jacoby Brissett, but you never know. Brissett, it might be his time to shine for a little while. It might be his time. Sometimes people get hot, man. People get streaky. Like, he may have a good hot streak. But that Panthers defense, they were tough last year at spurts. I think they'll be tough again. But the key to that game is going to be turnover. Who turns the ball over less? So I'm going to say, even though I hate to say it, Baker Mayfield and the Panthers are going to win that game. I know my boy Myles Garrett is on the D. They got a defense in Cleveland. Well, they got a D line. They don't really have a defense, D line. But how many times are you really going to sack the quarterback? 2 or 3 times, maybe. But turnovers. Turnovers are going to be key in most of the games. Next game, Colts and Texans. Man, come on. Colts and Texans. Ridiculous. Colts and Texans. That's one of those where I'm anxious to see what Lovie Smith has done with that team. But also, Matt Ryan, what he's going to do. I think Matt Ryan can pick that Texans defense apart if they don't get any pressure on them. So pressure is going to be key for a defensive-minded coach like Lovie. You got to amp up the pressure on the older Matt Ryan. He hasn't been himself. He's older. So he hasn't played like the Matt Ryan in his prime, but I think he can still carve up the defense with his experience. And he has a couple of receivers out there, Pittman and those guys can bring it. And I don't know. We're going to see they ride with Davis Mills, and the Texans are going with a young running back. We're going to see what that young Texas team can do against a division rival. Another division rivalry game, Saints and Falcons. Mariota, ready to see what he has. Ready to see what he has on it, taking over for Matt Ryan in the Falcons. He has a weapon with Pitts, a couple of other bright spots on offense, Cordell Patterson. Uh, so they should be all right. Maybe. I think they should be all right. The Saints, Jameis Winston, we're going to see what he does on that foot. Is he ready? I mean, we know his arm is ready. His arm is always ready. The boy can sling that ball. But, can he limit his turnovers? Can he move the ball downfield? And just how good is that Saints defense? That's going to be a huge one, too. Like I said, I love defense. I'm a fan of the game. I love touchdowns, but I love the teams that stop touchdowns from happening also, stop the touchdowns from occurring. So I'm rolling with the Saints in that game just because of their defense. I think there's going to be a couple of turnovers by Matt Ryan, especially when they start – not Matt Ryan, Mariota. When they start applying that pressure, I think the nerves are going to get to him a little bit. And then he's got to look over his shoulder for that DeRidder, man, because he might be next up. DeRidder might be next up, and he might get that spot sooner than later. So Ravens and Jets. Now, come on. Lamar is playing. As long as Lamar is playing, that should be an easy win for the Ravens. Still not sure if Wilson is playing. I guess maybe we'll know after tonight, or maybe we'll know tomorrow. But we'll have to figure it out. I think they said today they were making that decision. I haven't really paid much attention to sports today as I've been traveling. Which, by the way, this is the Diehardfan Sports Show, and I'm bringing you this show from Lexington, North Carolina, where I have traveled to in the last few days. Like yesterday, I was on the outskirts of Newark, New Jersey. I'm making my rounds. I'm traveling. I'm seeing all the beautiful people out there. There's a lot of hard fans, which in the near future, I'm going to have some of those fans on the show. They're going to be, chopping it up with us, giving us the game, letting us see what they think about all these sporting events, thinking about things that are going on. So I want to get into the Jaguars and the Commanders. Now, I spoke about that game last week. I don't think anyone really cares about that game on the schedule, but I'm hoping that the Jaguars upset. Yeah, it would be an upset if the Jaguars came out and won that game against the Commanders. But I think Doug Peterson, I want to see if Doug Peterson has them ready to play, at least make it competitive. The Commanders ain't all that, in my opinion, either. But, somebody has a win. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take the Jaguars in that one. We're going to see if Trevor Lawrence has learned anything from this so-called quarterback guru with Peterson. You saw what he did when he had Carson Wentz. You saw what he did when he had Nick Foles and stuff like that. The guy is a great player. I just want to see what all takes place with these players. I want to see who's doing what. I want to see who's really going to show their skills off. I don't know about Trevor Lawrence. I'm on the fence about him. I think he has the potential to be a good quarterback, but like getting beat up all the time and being on a losing team, sometimes that deflates you. But we're gonna see real soon. So here it is: Packers Vikings, another divisional game right off the rip, division rivals. This should be a good one. A lot of people are thinking the Vikings are going to dethrone the Packers this year for that division. I don't think so. It's still Rodgers against Cousins, and I think Rodgers, he said that he owns the Bears. I think he has the Vikings as well. He's owned the NFC North. So I think no matter who the receivers are, they may be off a little bit to begin the game, but I think Aaron Rodgers, he's so accurate with the rock, man. It's ridiculous, So I don't see anything happening different other than a few names on the jerseys that changed. I still think the Packers are going to handle the Vikings. I know you say it's a divisional rivalry and it can go either way, but I just don't have much faith in the Vikings. I used to live in Minnesota, and I would hear all the Minnesota fans so hyped up about, we got a good squad this year, to do absolutely nothing. Even the 1 year when they went to the NFC Championship game, you just knew that they were going to blow it at some point. But they had it already blown it if it wasn't for a lucky pass, a blown tackle, I should say, a blown play, a dumb decision by a defensive back for the Saints. By the way, is that guy still in the league? Can anybody tell me that? Let me know that. hit me up and let me know if that guy is still in the league that do that, because that was pitiful. Um, Moving along here, Giants and Titans. The Giants and the Titans. Hmm. Titans all the way in that one. There's no decision to me. King Henry coming off a foot injury, he's still going to run all over him. I know that Saquon Barkley's on the other side, but Vrabel has a very good defense. I don't see Saquon really been a force in that game. I think they'll limit him, and I think they'll put all the emphasis on Daniel Jones. Can Daniel Jones complete passes down the field? I think they're going to dare him to throw the ball. I mean, that's what I would do. I would dare him to throw the ball. I would put 8 men in the box. And that's how confident I would be that Daniel Jones won't be able to throw the ball. Is that I would stack the line. I would just rush the line of scrimmage and then put pressure. See what that offensive line can do. A new offensive coordinator as well, so that's going to shake up Daniel Jones a little bit. Them getting familiar with each other and also going out there, doing that thing. But the Giants are a division rival, man. They're in my division. They're in my Cowboys division, my beloved Cowboys. So, yeah, Titans, whoop up on them. Raiders and Chargers. Now, that's a divisional game right off the rip, picking up where they left off as far as that was the Chargers' last game last year against the Raiders, remember? So they owe the Raiders, remember that overtime that came down to the, the Raiders ended up winning in OT and knocking them out of the playoffs. They couldn't settle for the tie, but they chose to win. That's what you do to a division rival, by the way. I ain't giving you nothing. Nope. I got to play you twice a year. And the fact that I had to play you a third time, no. I mean, and the fact that I had a potential to play you a third time, no, I'm not giving you anything. That's what you were supposed to do. I like the Raiders for that. But in that game, I'm going to go with the Chargers. And this is why I'm going to go with the Chargers. I just don't have much faith in Derek Carr. I don't think Herbert, I think Herbert has the better, even though Devontae Adams is on the other side, I think overall Herbert has the better receiving core. And I think the Chargers have a better defense. I think the Chargers have a better defense when healthy. So I think, and those guys are cohesive because the both of them played together for quite a while. So I'm riding with them. I'm not riding, so I'm riding with the Chargers in that game. And I think that they want revenge. I know it's early, the ramifications are not the same as they were. The situation isn't the same, but as going into the playoffs, win and go to the playoff scenario. But it very well may be, since everybody is saying that division is going to be real tough. Now let's move to the Chiefs and the Cardinals. I'm taking Kansas City in that game. I think Mahomes is going to slice them up. I know the Cardinals had a pretty good defense last year, but I don't think they're going to do anything. Mahomes is like, the guy works magic back there, man. So I think he's going to continue to work his magic. Like I said, it doesn't matter who the receivers are. I think he's going to find people open, and I think Mahomes is just going to prove that, man, hey, we can win without Tyreek Hill. And I think Tyreek Hill is going to be the one on the short end of that stick because he's in Miami. And the Cardinals, it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up, game one, how Kyler Murray comes out, after going after the bag and all that stuff. I want to see what Kyler Murray can do. I want to see, is he worth the money, or is he just talking because everybody else is getting paid? I want to see the production on the field. I know they're going to say, hey, he's without his number one receiver. Man, I don't want to hear all that. Spread the ball around. There's more than one, this ain't a one-trick pony, man. I want to see, but it's going to be good to see. I think that's why the NFL did that. Week one is going to be good to see a good matchup like that. Two potentially perennial quarterbacks. Well, Mahomes is already perennial. Kyler Murray is big time. So we're going to see what they do. And, we're going to see what they do. Kyler Murray is, Dick Vitale would say he's a PTP or a primetime player. Shout out to Dick Vitale. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see both of those guys going head to head. It's sort of like when we saw Lamar Jackson and the Chiefs go at it. That was a good win. So hopefully they put on a show for us. Buccaneers Cowboys Sunday night, man. Ooh-wee. The GOAT versus my team. We saw the show that the two teams put on last year. I'm looking forward to another good show. Hopefully, it's another good show like that one, but this time slightly change the narrative slightly, and the Cowboys win. That would be uh, valuable to me. That would be important. That would be great. Um, and the Broncos and the Seahawks, because we're gonna go back to that Cowboys Buccaneers here in just a second. But let me go ahead and say the Monday night game, which normally they have two Monday night games, but they only have one this year. And it's going to be the Broncos and Seahawks. Russell Wilson going against Pete Carroll. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to say the Geno Smith thing, but going against his former team, going against the former mastermind that coached him for a lot of years. It's going to be interesting to see what defenses they throw at him. Uh, you would think that his head coach knows his weaknesses and things like that. So we're going to see firsthand if he does or if he doesn't. But we're going to see firsthand how everything pans out. Um, Now, Seahawks, they got some questions to answer. Is it going to be a frustrating season for DK Metcalf? Um, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about Gino. I hope everybody's wrong. I'm glad Gino's getting a chance. I don't want to slight anybody on a chance. I've said that before, but you just don't know, especially after watching preseason. You just didn't see much. So maybe they just, maybe he's saving it for the regular season. We're about to find out. Um, but I think Russell Wilson really wants to beat them. I think he doesn't have to say anything. Just like I said last week about Baker Mayfield wanting to beat the Browns. There's nothing that you don't have to justify whatever was said, even if they misquoted you. Yeah, I want to beat them. Yeah, I want to tear them up. That should be simple as that. I mean, you're a competitor. The team did you dirty. You want to get revenge. Now, Russell Wilson wasn't done dirty in his instance, but he's still on that squad. So I want to see him win. I want to see Russell Wilson go out there and put on the show, going against Pete Carroll. But Pete Carroll is a defensive-minded guy, so I want to see what defenses he throws at Russ, just because of that familiarity, that dynamic. I want to see. Hey, I coached you for a long time, so I know some of your weaknesses, and I want to see what he throws at him. When like Belichick did that to Brady, he threw different coverages and different things at Brady, and Brady actually struggled against Belichick's defense, which is what was expected, right? At least in my mind, that's what was expected. Now, real quick, I want to go back to this Buccaneers Cowboys game, and the reason why I went back to it is because Bowles versus McCarthy. If it comes down to coaching, we're going to see how we're going to see a disciplined team versus a team that's notorious for being undisciplined. Yes, my Dallas Cowboys have been undisciplined, so hopefully they can keep those flags away, man. It's like destroying the game. So hopefully they find some fundamentals and they find some discipline within themselves to control themselves and be able to play the game correctly and go out there and put on a show like they did last year. Limit the penalties. I want to see this Michael Parsons, but I want to see DeMarcus Lawrence and all those guys fire off at Brady. And this is why, because Michael Parsons talked a whole lot of noise about he's chasing sack records and all this stuff. If I was him, I wouldn't have said anything, but I want to see how he does. I want to see, I really want to see if he's up to the challenge about what they're about to throw at him. And while they're double teaming him and even at times triple teaming him, it should give other people on the D line chances to get off. I know we got supposed to have a solid secondary, but it's going to be tested with Julio Jones and those guys, Mike Evans, and I think Godwin's. I don't know if Godwin is back, but I know he should be back. So it's going to be tough to see. It's going to be great for me to see, and it's going to be tough to see. Brady possibly actually playing his last season. But I don't want to speculate. But I'm just saying I think he's got one foot out in retirement. When you start towing that line, it's hard to get back. But if anybody's able to do anything, I mean, I think the GOAT has proven everybody wrong for so long that he'll prove us all wrong again, and he'll be great. I don't expect a drop off passing wise, but it may be a drop off as far as taking hits out there. The offensive line hasn't, well, isn't going to be as strong as it once was with people limping in. So we'll see what happens. But I'm anxious to get this season started. After going through all these games and looking at the matchups, to me, it's not about stats. As a fan, it's about who wants it more. It's about wins and losses. It's not about just uh, X's and O's. Even it's about heart. It's about who you rep, who are you a huge fan of, and what you want to see. Hello, it's about us as fans, what we want to see, what we want to do. Uh, and I actually think um, this season is going to be one heck of a ride because you got so many competitive teams. I don't think the NFL has been this competitive since maybe I was a kid, maybe in the 80s, early 90s or something, where you have all these teams that you have quarterback after quarterback that just seems like any one of them can take their team over the hump. And I'm actually pulling, of course, for my quarterback. I'm pulling for Dak Prescott. Just a diehard fan show, Cowboy fan here, always going to represent. But it's so many. I mean, you got Burrows. I mean, the North alone, um, you know, um, you got Burrows, you got Jackson, and I know right now you're looking at Brissett starting, but at some point you're gonna have that man out there, Deshaun Watson. So that division might be a stacked one for years to come. I mean, because regardless, off the field, but on the field, Deshaun Watson is a beast on the field. He can play on the field. The boy can play flat out play football. So that's all that's what I'm looking forward. Like that right there. But you gotta wait week 11, week 12, even if he sees any action this year at all. I think it'll depend on where they are in the standings, whether or not he'll play. But you also have to look at Pittsburgh is never a slouch in that division, man. So their quarterback, I know they with Mitch Trubisky. Watch out for Mitch. Pittsburgh plays ugly games, and Mitch is streaky. He can get hot on you, and he can run the rock. So you can't count them out. But every division has those quarterbacks. Even if you look at the lowly AFC South, they got quarterbacks over there. Matty Ice getting a new start. Matt Ryan getting a start in Indianapolis. And then you're looking at Davis Mills. They have high expectations for him down in Houston. Trevor Lawrence, but just talking Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence, that should be enough right there. Uh, you know, just to make it all make sense. A lot, and then Tennessee, Tannehill. To me, Tannehill, uh, he's the least impressive, but we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. He's always going to throw the ball to the other team at some point. Not high on Tannehill. I never was. I think Tennessee messed up. They should have kept Mariota a little bit longer because you watch for the Falcons, Mariota is going to put on a show. As long as he's healthy, I think he's going to have a decent season, and he's going to say, "See, I showed you, so, I told you so." But the Falcons aren't going anywhere. Don't get me wrong, um, because they got other issues. Defensively, they got issues. So it's not going to be just on him. Special teams, they got issues. But as this show is winding down, I want to say it's the Die Hard Fan Sports Show. Check out the Snook One Productions at Shopify for those T-shirts and things like that. I got more designs and stuff coming up soon. All that stuff is in the works. More coffee mugs and more slogans on mugs and things like that. Thanks for Sports for America for giving me this opportunity. And also, I want to say thesimshow.com. Check out the Stimulate Your Mind show. Um, Another shout out to the Nerd Focus. That's the energy drink. My man Shaun got his own energy drink. Y'all should check that out. I'm sure it tastes lovely. I haven't tasted it yet myself. But I'm anxious to get my hands on that nerd focused energy drink just to see what it's about, see if it's popping or not. Uh, I'll give you my die hard opinion once I get that. But these last few minutes of the show, um, I want to say last week I spoke about a little bit about a conversation that I had with a couple of people about uh, is the NBA was the NBA too black? And the consensus is no, there's no such thing as being too black, things like that, or anything like that. I think the people that brought that up to be, I think the whole point was, is it too influenced by the black culture? I mean, and for me, no. For me, no. I know that hip hop has a heavy influence in the NBA, all those things, but no. To answer those people specifically, since they bugged me again with, "Hey, but you never did just you straddled the fence a little bit." No, um, I think I think it's a young man's game. They're in their prime. Hip hop is one of those things that always brags about the young men brag about being in their prime. So it goes hand in hand with the situations that's going on, and they talk, like all that big talk, all that big money talk. Those are the dudes with the big money, man. So of course they relate to that more. And it's a different time, it's a different period. It's not really a whole lot of rock music that's banging right now. It's not a whole lot, it's not a whole lot of, it's no R&B much right now. So, what are the young people supposed to do other than ride that hip hop wave? I say, if that's what you're basing it on, then no. And I say no, because we know the league is predominantly black. Um, like I said, it just made me think that it's our time now in certain areas. But I want to see more black coaches. I want to see more black. I want to see black owners. Actually, I want to see more black owners. That's when things are really changing, when you have more black coaches, more black execs, more black owners, more minority owners in general. I want to see all the way across the board, and that's in every sport. I just want to see more coaches. Because like I said, I do the show Stimulate Your Mind, and stimulate your mind to the fact that a league that's predominantly black doesn't have hardly any black coaches to coach the young black talent. Go figure. I mean, think about that. Is like puzzling to me. It's a conundrum that needs to be solved. It's something, it's something there. Not going to rehash all that because I've been there and I've said my piece on a lot of that stuff on what I think is going on. But at the same time, it still needs to be highlighted that, hey, you got all this talent. And I got a few seconds left. The Deion Sanders and Eddie George and those guys' impact on the HBCUs and getting those guys some light and giving perhaps a few more of those guys cracks at the NFL. Now scouts have to watch. That's very commendable of those guys. I'm sure that's not why they're coaching, but maybe it's a part of it. But it's going to be huge for the HBCUs as you get more and more former players starting to go over there and coach. Um, it's going to be great to get those looks. So hats off to Dion, hats off to Eddie George, hats off to all those guys, all those former players that are going to those HBCUs. I know there's more in the works. I know Dion has just opened up new doors and new opportunities for former players to get those opportunities and to bring with them that NFL clout, to bring their contacts with them. I mean, that's networking at its best. Prime time, still doing prime time things years after he's played. To me, that's Hall of Fame right there, y'all. That's it was a game changer when he played, and now he's a game changer in the coaching arena. And that's how I want to end this show. the game changer. Very important that we have those people that are willing to step out on those limbs and do those kinds of things. Or else we won't advance in this country. You know, so uh, that's my time today on the Die Hard Fan Sports Show. Y'all have a good evening.